Hi friends, it's Lisa Hetrick, illustrator for Gina K Designs, and I'm so grateful you could join me today. Happy 2020. This is the first tutorial video that I'm sharing in 2020, and I'm so excited to be here with you to share this brand new tutorial. Now, I am a little bit inspired by these Electro Pop neon colors from Gina K Designs that were created by Rena. And I wanted to just kind of play with all of the open line flowers that I have created in all of my sets actually with Gina K. So I decided to get back into the swing for 2020 because I was a little bit rusty with my stamping, to just kind of have some fun with some of these electro pop colors, pull some of the stamps from a variety of my stamp sets, and let's have a go at it and just create something that was kind of 80s inspired and sort of flower power, because flowers are my favorite, right? I love flowers. If you've been following my channel or if you're new here, flowers just make me so happy and bring me joy. So I want to bring you joy today with this super fun card. And all of the supplies and the stamps are going to be listed below, so no worries. Everything will be detailed there for you. I've got some dies here also from Gina K that I'm going to experiment with, or I think I'm going to experiment with. Along with my colors here, I've got my Tidy Towel. I've got some Gina K Designs Connect glue. I have my scissors here, and I have a couple other supplies that I'm going to be sharing as well. I'm using these Nuvo drops. I think I'm going to use them. They're the gloss white. I decided to bring out the anti-static pad because I'm going to be doing some embossing with this white embossing powder from Gina K Designs, just because it's going to make those colors super, super poppy. And here are the three colors that I'm going to be working with. So I have Hello Yellow and Poppin' Pink and Potent Purple. Now, I like working with these inks, but they are super, super saturated. So I have three separate Picket Fence Studio brushes that I'm going to be using for those colors. So let's go ahead and dive in, and I'm going to start with stamping out all of the open line flowers. And I'm just using all of these variety of flowers from the different sets that I have with Gina K to create some flower power. So I'm going to be stamping them around the edges of this piece of cardstock. So I've got the static pad here. Now, I very rarely pull this out when I'm doing embossing, but I thought I would do that today because I have so many flowers that I'm going to emboss here. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp out all of these open line flowers, and they're going to be hard to see right now, but they will show up when I put the embossing powder on it. So I'm just rotating from flower to flower, and I'm stamping them around the edges of the cardstock twice, and just kind of filling in the design to get a variety of look and feel with these flowers. So you can just kind of see me going around the edges. I'm intentionally leaving the center of the cardstock open so that I can put my sentiment there and just play with layering some of the neon colors. Also, this piece of cardstock is a piece of Gina K Designs white layering cardstock. It's cut to 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to put it on top of the the A2 sized card of the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 heavyweight Gina K cardstock. So I'm really just working with white cardstock, embossing powder, and ink to get these effects today. So I'm going to go ahead and take my white Gina K embossing powder, and it's the pearly white. Again, it'll be listed below. And I just put it over top of all of the stamped images, and I'm just using my heat tool to kind of heat set it. You can see the flowers, they're just so pretty right now without even adding a ton of color yet. But you can see I'm just trying to decide if it's going to be a horizontal card or if it's going to be a vertical card. I tend to go with the vertical, and I really am just kind of focused on having those florals take up the top part of the design here. So I want to talk a little bit about the Electro Pop inks. These inks are really super saturated and super fun. Now, I am heavy-handed when it comes to using any kind of brush uh, for ink application. So I tend to get a piece of cardstock out first and kind of practice my hand motions first so I can get a good feel of how it feels in my hands. And then when I go to my real card, I'm not going to hit it too hard and just kind of bugger it up. So you can see that I'm kind of inconsistent here, but I am just playing a little bit with the two colors, and I'm just trying to get a good feel for how these Electropop inks work. They are amazing for layering. So I've got one layer of color on here, and you can see that I'm adding another layer, and you can see how they work with the Gina K cardstock. You still get a little bit of that white that pops through from the cardstock, and I love that. It has a watercolor feel, and you know I love me some watercolor. Okay, so now I'm taking the Poppin' Pink with my picket fence brush here, and I'm just starting to layer in the color. And what I really love about these inks is that they blend so well together. So you can mix the Poppin' Pink and the Potent Purple, and you get a little bit more of a bluish tint where the two meet, and I love that. I love where we can take our inks and we can mix up and get different shades. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so I've put on that first layer of color, and now I'm going to just go in with my tidy towel. My tidy towel is not super wet, but I'm just wiping off the color that's kind of attached itself to the embossed area. And now I'm going into the center and adding more of that pop-in pink. What I love about these inks is that you can continue to come back to it and layer and deepen those colors even more. So I'm layering again, adding a little bit more color, and just kind of showing you here on an extra piece of cardstock I have how much more saturated these colors can get when you layer them and continue to add layers. You can get some of that translucency that you get from the ink, but you can just get more a saturated look with it. So I keep focusing on this center area just to kind of give it more of that pink pop up against those flowers that are embossed in the white. So we get that whole kind of flower power kind of feel to it. Okay, so now I'm moving on, and I'm using the yellow, and I'm going to use my brush here and just get some of this yellow down onto my cardstock because I'm going to use this for the smile die cut. So you can see how vibrant this color is. It is super vibrant, very fluorescent, sort of like a highlighter, which is super fun. And I just love the intensity of the glow that you get from this color. So it's perfect to lay down onto the white cardstock. I'm using Gina K layering white here and just putting the die on top of the yellow, and I'm running it through my platinum. I love my Spellbinders platinum. Just running it through here to get that die cut, and it's just perfect. I just love being able to use my inks and white paper to create this fun die. Okay, so now I'm going to get the card assembled and start to add some of the finishing touches. I'm using my Gina K Designs Connect glue. I love using this glue because it gives me a little bit of time for some wiggle room to move things around, but already you can see how vibrant this color is and how the flowers are popping from the embossing. I just love that. It was super simple card to pull together. We've got a lot of flower power going here. The smile die cut that I'm just popping on here just adds a nice pop of yellow just popping off of those colors, and I'm just digging it. So right now I'm just going to take the sentiment here that says I miss your smile, and I'm going to go ahead and ink that up with some of the Gina K Jet Black Amalgam. And I'm going to cut this little strip into a little banner. So I'm going to cut little triangles into the side of this strip and then just attach it right above the smile die cut to get a really simple sentiment. Also, adding this little bit of white above bring some more attention to the flowers on the outer edge. So we've got a black sentiment that's grounding that sentiment a little bit more, that I miss your, and the white cardstock is helping draw some attention out to the flowers. So it's a nice balance of all of the colors that are happening. So now I'm just going to add a little bit of the white Nuvo drops. You could use a gel pen. You could also just splatter some white on here. I'm just going to add 5 little drops. Gems would be good too. You could just add a little something extra to this center area where the sentiment is, just to kind of pull your eye in just a little bit. So that's all I'm going to add to this card, because the stamps are really the star of the show here. And the inks, the Electro Pop inks, really help those flowers pop. So you could do this technique with any kind of open line flowers you have in your stash, just to kind of create this look and feel of flower power. Also, just know that these Electro Pop inks are amazing to use with your die cuts. You can just ink up some of your heavyweight cardstock or layering weight cardstock, pop your dies over top, and just die cut it out, and you've got instant color. So all of these things just kind of come together to make a really, really fun card, and I'm just loving it. And we're back for 2020. And I just can't wait to share some more tutorials with you this year. I hope you enjoyed today's card tutorial. Thanks so much for joining me. Please consider sharing the joy by liking this video and subscribing to this channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.